different guys here. You got a commitment flip, Landon Thomas out of Colquitt, who's like he's the classic snip snap tight end out of Colquitt, who's now back with Ohio State. Is he Ohio State or Florida State? Where is Landon Thomas now?
Florida State. Are you already losing your Georgia roots? Because that is pronounced Colquitt, sir.
It's Colquitt.
It is. That might be how it's spelled to you, but us down here, folk in Georgia, we say Colquitt. Colquitt County.
Folk? I'm sorry. How far is Colquitt County from Tequila, Georgia, Matt Green?
It's a long ways. But I'm just saying, you got to get those Georgia pronunciations right. All right, Colquitt County.
I've been gone for 3 years, man.
No, you're one of them now. But yeah, I was watching the spring game. I don't know. I was trying to find the Tennessee spring. I don't know what channel that was on. Georgia was on ESPN. I don't know if it was on. It was on CSS or Bally Sports or I don't know. Maybe Versus. I'm not sure what channel Tennessee was on, but ESPN. I was watching it. I don't know if you saw before the Georgia spring game on ESPN. They did a college football playoff recap. Mm-hmm. Went like real detailed in the TCU Michigan game and then the Georgia Ohio State game. Probably longer than they even did the TCU Georgia game. Mm-hmm. And as I was watching this, the confetti, Georgia celebrating the championship, I couldn't help but think like, I wish our women's basketball team was better. I wish our baseball team could win some games sometimes. It broke my heart. Winning those national championships in football. It's like, I wish we would be pretty good at everything, So those are my thoughts over the weekend when I was watching the spring game. But no, on a serious...
Was that necessary, Matt Green? Was that a necessary minute and a half monologue on not being an everything school?
I thought it was a great bit. I stand by it. But watching Georgia play, I think Carson Beck solidified himself as the guy. People obviously were talking about Vandagriff in the portal, and I think you were talking about Georgia portal issues. And
well, Vandagriff's going in the portal. He's just waiting to get the full year. Like, that's the whole thing. It's like he's not going to learn a new offense and be thrust in. I don't think a lot of guys are going to make the jump.
But why do we know Vandagriff is going to go to the portal at some point?
Well, whoever loses this job, like if Carson Beck flames out or whatever, then he's in the portal. Like, it's
why can't Carson Beck throw 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, be second team all SEC, and put his name in the NFL draft?
No, he's coming back. No, he's doing back-to-back years.
How do we know? I mean, this guy's he's supposed to. I mean, he's got prototype size, like 6'4", 220 or something like that. Like he's well built.
Gunner's out. If he's out in a year and then Brock takes over, then it's Gunner who's out.
But Beck, I mean, he's got the prototype size and he's supposed to have a great arm. So it's like Carson, and he's has decent athleticism. Like he's not a statue. He's a pocket passer for sure. But I think that I would not rule out him having a good season and going pro. Like especially after Jake Fromm going pro. Like when his stock was at an all-time low. Like that was just a terrible decision he made. But like it's not
because he was never going to be like an all-time.
He's a 4-year guy. He's a 4-year guy.
Wrong with that.
But he left after his 3rd year. Jake Fromm, he left early. I'm saying he should have stayed because he had no business leaving when his stock was at an all-time low. Like he had a terrible second half of 2019. But that's a side note.
I don't think you have to worry about that when you're a Georgia quarterback at this point.
But Carson Beck, I mean, what Georgia should have offensively, he could have a great season. Vandagriff could get, honestly, with how athletic Vandagriff looks, I guarantee he gets some snaps as like a little dual threat, direct snap type stuff.
You have another Falton Bauta on your hands, Matt Green?
Maybe. We can only hope. So Vandagriff could be kind of a part of the team in like a very small capacity. Beck has a good year, goes pro, and then Vandagriff's the starter in 2024. It's like that's not out of the question. And then Vandagriff's a big-time prospect too. Who knows? He could go pro early, and then it's Gunnar Stockton time. I'm just saying, I'm not going to rule it out like these guys could all end up at Georgia. Maybe Dylan Raiola comes in and then Carson Beck decides to leave. But maybe beats out Raiola. Who knows what happens? But I'm just saying Georgia is an elite program right now that's basically got the best of the best players at every other position, and that's a good spot to be in as a quarterback. So if you have any sort of avenue you can see to playing time and being the starter at Georgia, like you're gonna hold out as long as you can. Like you want to be a part of this team that's winning back-to-back national championships.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens ultimately. It will all play itself out. But in terms of the spring game, Carson Beck looked really good. That little 87 run around, returning kick sixes and stuff.
Muse, I think was his last name. I walk on. Yeah. Balling out. Having a day.
I mean, what was your strongest takeaway from the spring game, Matt Green? What were your eyes and what were you focused on?
I would say, obviously, the quarterback's the biggest thing you wanted to see. Vandagriff is like an elite athlete. I think he is big time. So he has like kind of a funny release, but it's like it doesn't necessarily matter how you throw if you get it there. But he's got kind of a funky kind of sidearm release, like a big wind-up release he's got. But, I mean, he looks like a good player. So, we'll see what happens there. But in terms of, the rest of the team, a lot of the running backs were out for the spring game, so you couldn't really see a lot of that. But Dominic Lovett, I liked seeing him in a Georgia jersey. I feel like he looks like certain guys just move differently, and they just move like just quicker, more explosive, and he looks like probably the most explosive athlete in Georgia's receiver group now, to me. He looks like he's probably going to be that guy, that dynamic. I mean, obviously, McConkey is used kind of the same way, just, making plays after the catch. So, and then, you got to see Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers he's just the man. So, there's going to be a lot of weapons on offense. It was good seeing some of the freshmen, like Xavier Sori, I know was a guy, he came in, I want to say that's the 2021 class. Him and Smile Mondin were both 5 stars coming at the same time. And he kind of seemed like one of those guys that was developing into like a portal candidate. It's like just Georgia with so many good linebackers and
but he's gonna start,
recruiting
right?
Freshmen. No, because, Mondin and
no, I'm saying
Dumas
Mondin
Johnson
was going to start, right?
Yeah, both of them are going to start.
Yeah.
They're back this year. So I'm saying Xavier Sori was one that
Okay.
people kind of, even though he was a 5-star, I think he was ranked higher than Mondin. They were about the same. I think he was one that, and then this huge linebacker class they brought in these 3 freshmen in this one. So he was kind of one of those guys that people were speculating, and he appears to have taken like a step up and might be like that solid 3rd inside linebacker, kind of when like they had Quay Walker and Channing Tindall and Nakobe Dean all at the same time. So, who knows really, how that depth chart is going to play out, but it's a loaded inside linebacker group, like per usual for Georgia. And then Sam Mpemba was a true freshman 5-star that I think he's ranked number 26, which is just a weird number for like a pass rusher. Just looked very strange out there. But that dude's he's an athlete for sure. I think he 5-star edge rusher. So, we'll see what happens. But Tyke Smith, I'm hoping, the West Virginia transfer that Georgia hasn't gotten a lot out of in the last couple years. He's looking like he's going to be the star position because Javon Bullard is going to move into that Chris Smith spot at free safety. So maybe Javon Bullard and Malachi Starks as the starting safeties, and then probably Tyke Smith at the star. But that other corner,
be fine.
That other corner
they moved
spot,
Bullard, right? They moved Bullard from star to safety.
Yeah. So and that's what I'm saying. Tyke Smith is probably going to be that star, and he tore his ACL his first year.
On one corner, and who's going to be the other corner?
And then that's the question that really the biggest, I guess, kind of the only question mark on the defense is who's going to be that opposite corner. Maybe Dalen Everett, maybe Nyland Green. There's someone else, maybe who they've been hyping up recently. Humphrey. I'm blanking on his first name. Number 12. He was the one that was the Florida commit that flipped to Georgia.
What about Smoke Bouye?
I did see him out there, but I'm not sure what impact he had. I didn't get a good look at him or anything.
Okay, there you go. The Tennessee side of things, Matt Green. I know you said you were watching it. You had a bookmark, so you joke about ESPN Plus for the network game, but people were dialed in, and it wasn't just you.
I think it was on Jefferson Pilot. I'm not sure.
Aaron Murray out here saying Joe Milton is the most talented quarterback in the country. Damn good dog out here hyping up Joe Milton over Carson Beck or Brock Vandagriff. Like it was an interesting interesting time this week on the Twitter sphere and keeping up with who's saying what, Matt Green. But watching the game,
Joe Milton's definitely.